Okay, now we start to edit the pictures we made with Photoshop. Here I open the Preview tool of the system and open a picture. You see the inside and outside takes we made. For this course I will work with an inside take, simply because it is worse than the outside take, and I would like to demonstrate how to make a bad picture a good picture. You see the front side of the box. This picture is very dark. You can make the basic lightness and contrast correction, but you will see that the picture did not become better, but simply different. This is why I reverse this action again. In the first step, we use the level function of Photoshop. This is not a Photoshop thing. Any paint software will offer this tool as well. The level window now is open and it shows average values of all data as black peaks. The higher the curve is, the more frequent the color exists in the picture. You can see that we have many dark colors and very little light colors, and you don't even need to look at the picture. With the levels I can optimize the classification of the single color values on the scale from black to white. I simply move this little lever onto the lightest point of my data. So this here I now define as white. This as black. And this is the middle tone. I can move the lever of the middle tones as well and classify it as more darker or more lighter area. The effect shows clearly in the picture. It becomes darker or lighter. This lever is a so-called gamma value, but overall this level tool has a big disadvantage. I push OK and then open it again so you can see what happens. You can see that we have a lot of gaps here while before everything was closed. The reason is that we have 256 color tones before and now we have half of the tones lined up on the whole scale. They are now stretched like an accordion because the color tones between them are missing. That's why this level dialog is quite useless for us. Although we have the requested result of a lighter picture, but this tool has downgraded the quality of our picture. That's why we do it differently. We classify the progressive color values with the gradation. You find the gradation in the menu under Adjustment. It's called Curve. Now a new dialog window has opened and it shows that we have a classification of data coming in and data going out. When I move around the cursor you can see values at the bottom. In this case, for example, the color value 53, which stands for a dark gray. When I now click onto the curve I create a little control point which I am able to move. You see the color value of 53 become a value of 17. All other color values go along like a curve. That means I can work precisely and logarithmical. Also I can create new control points anytime, for example to save certain color areas. By making this line straight again I can keep the light parts as they are in the original picture. I only change the middle tones as well as the dark tones. I click OK and open the levels. And you see that even here color values have changed, but not all. You see, the gradation is a better manipulation tool to make a picture lighter or darker. Back to the dialog window where I want to explain something else. Some people work with other values. They use percentage values. Therefore, I click here, and 15% here and 20% here make the picture darker. Personally, I prefer the absolute color values, Another possibility is to kind of draw the curve where you can produce crazy color values which create a kind of Andy Warhol style. Professionals call this click art because it is no ability but an accidentally created pixel salad. If you are not satisfied with the result, you can use the Alt key to reset the curve or abort the entire operation. Here you have this nice auto button. You push this and take a look at what happens. The picture immediately shows a different color temper. That is because behind this auto button there are a few functions hidden. These have been deposited with the options. I open the options window and you see that certain parts can be set to be ignored. I open the option window and you see that certain parts of the color values can be ignored by the automatic to prevent that noise influence the result. In this example, 10% of the light parts are seen as scratches or dirt. Differently said, up to 253 of the color values are accepted and the values that top this are ignored. The same can be done in the dark part. Also, I can say which possibilities should prevail. To see what happens, you can play around with it a little. Please use the manual for this. For us, the option Snap Neutral Midtones is useful. That means we can tell the program to find a neutral midtone automatically, which is true gray. Now you see I still have a straight line, although something happens with the picture. Photoshop has separated the channels before it changed the values. You can see that there has been no changes in the red channel, but in the blue and the green channel. In the curve mode you can see that the control points Photoshop has set for marking the changes. You can move the values around until you like the result, but you might as well click Auto and let Photoshop do the work. Now we have optimized the levels with the gradation. The next thing will be cutting and rotating.